The real reasons start with fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of conflict. Anger is another big one. All of these negative emotions have a direct impact of how we show up in the world.
Hey there, and welcome back to the My Future Business Show. It's Rick Nuske here. I hope you're doing wonderfully well. It's so good to see you here. And if this is your first time joining us on the show, I know you're in for a treat, because on today's show, I have the pleasure of welcoming international leadership coach, trainer, and speaker, Paty Johnston, to the show. Welcome to the show, Paty.
Thank you so much, Rick. It's such an honor to be here.
It's very exciting to have you here. Now, today, you and I are going to be talking about the impacts of procrastination and what we can do in our personal and professional lives to overcome it to become more productive and successful. So to say that there's a little bit to unpack here is probably an understatement.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was born a procrastinator, and for the longest time, I didn't know what was happening and why things were not working out like I wanted to. So I'm happy to be here to clarify anything that's needed.
Well, look, absolutely. So where are you calling in from today?
I am in Madrid, in Spain.
Beautiful.
I am such a mix. I was born in Colombia, South America. My home is New York City in the US, but I'm a world traveler. I used to live in Australia, and I now travel the world most of the year doing conferences and going around. So I'm in Europe for the summer.
Oh, very good. Look, let's have a bit of a deep dive into your background. So in terms of where you're at now, are you there for business, for pleasure? What's happening?
Yeah, so I had a conference in Lisbon last week. And so I get invited in different corporations and different, groups for me to go and speak about procrastination. And then I love Spain. So I went from Portugal to Spain. And because I have flexibility on time, and we're going to talk about that, how I got here to my ideal job.
Mm-hmm.
So then I decided to stay in Europe, and I'm just going to travel. I'm going to Scandinavia on Sunday.
Oh, goodness me.
So,
I tell you, living the life. I tell you, I was going to ask you, what do you do in your downtime? But I guess you don't have much of that.
So, but I have, Rick, I'm going to tell you something. I was born in Colombia. I do not come from money. I was supposed to be working for a job that I didn't like. I was a single mom since I was very early.
Mm-hmm.
So the future for me didn't look too bright at some point. But that's the key. Like, I stopped procrastinating on myself, and I now have the perfect combination. So I travel the world because I love to travel. I work while I travel, and my job involves helping people.
That's
so my
great.
downtime is traveling, working, and I don't know, living the dream.
The best of both worlds. Well, look, having traveled around the world a bit myself, I always find that the places I go, there's a difference in cuisine. Do you have a favorite food, and where is it?
Oh my goodness, this is the problem I have. I love food. Everywhere I go, I'm like, oh no, this is definitely my favorite. When I go to the next place, I say exactly the same thing. I don't know. I like Asian food in general. And Asian obviously is very different, but again, I'm here in Spain and I love the food here. So it's hard to
choose one. Well, look, you talked about not coming from money, and I always think about my own upbringing. I'm very excited if we can talk a little bit about what life was like for you growing up. Can you recall any fond memories?
Yeah, I mean, I have a beautiful family. It's my dad, my mom, and my sister. And my sister, she thinks she's perfect, but she's not perfect. She's almost perfect. So I grew up with, my parents are very disciplined. My sister is very on time and very clean and very organized. And I was the opposite. I was a mess. I was forgetful. The homework, my room looked like there was a tornado that had come by. So I was born in a very beautiful family, but because I was very different, I was generally told, Paty, you're such a mess. There's something wrong with you. Paty, my dad, who's lovely, by the way, but he didn't know any better back then, said to me in a dinner one time when I spilled the milk, and he said, Paty, you're such a mess. I don't see a future for you.
Oh, wow.
I hope you get a good husband someday, because I don't know what's going to happen to you. And I was like, oh no.
Thanks, Dad.
Something really, really wrong with me? I thought, and then on top of that, I got pregnant when I was really, really young, a
Mm-hmm.
single mom.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, now you've ruined your future. So, my parents' ideal scenario was for me to graduate, to have a job. My dad had a job in the same company for 40 years. And there was, doing things completely different. So that's what started making me question, is there something wrong with me? Because why is it that I say to myself, I'm going to do this and I don't do it? I
Yeah.
want to be organized and I'm not. I want to be on time to places and I don't. So that's what led to my journey of finding out what was wrong supposedly with me, and then find a solution.
So on that journey, did you meet any inspirational people that really gave you, I guess, the catalyst beyond, what your father had told you?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people I met, I used to see them, and for me, Rick, I saw successful people really outside my world, right? Like that's not me, that's not my world.
Yep.
People with money, that's not, we
Mm-hmm.
didn't grow up with money. But I started analyzing what is it that they do that I don't. And a lot of the things that I could see is, they were intelligent, of course, but they were consistent. They were this, whatever they said they were going to do, they did. And then I started doing research. I started studying psychology just to fix myself. And I discovered something that we were told wrong. Like in school, people were like, "Oh, if you have a high IQ, you're gonna make it. You're gonna be super successful, high IQ." But I discovered that is something called EQ, emotional intelligence. And it's been proven that 85% of our success comes from EQ, not from IQ. Emotional intelligence is 85% of our success. So I thought, okay,
Ah,
I can learn about EQ and see what happens. And that's really what changed my life.
well, it's funny, I've been looking forward to this call so much because I like to consider myself, somewhat intelligent, and I often get in my own way. Um, is
Mm.
that a thing where intelligent
Oh,
people really stop before they've achieved any success because they outthink themselves? Is that a thing?
100%. And this is what happens. It's not like you're not intelligent. It's not that people are not talented. Like I knew I could make it, right? It's
Mm,
not like
yeah,
I was, not, I knew I had the capability.
yeah.
But why I was stopping my own self, I was like my worst enemy. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I didn't do it. Oh, yeah, tomorrow. Oh, it didn't happen. So yes, it's being intelligent is a blessing and a problem
Oh yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
when you're intelligent, then you can get by with little,
Mm.
right? In school, it's like, oh, I didn't study. Oh, I still passed. Oh, I can do the homework at the last little second or the project the night before, and somehow it works, but it doesn't over time because we cut corners, because it's stressful. And at the end, you can be very intelligent, but if you're not fulfilling your full potential, then it's a waste. So 100% intelligence is good, but it's just not enough.
So I
It's not
wonder,
enough.
I wondered that Genesis moment when you realized that this was your calling to help people with procrastination. Can you recall that moment in time?
Yeah, so I started studying psychology. I moved from Colombia to the US. My
Mm.
son was 3 years old. He was a baby ish still, and and then I graduated, and then I created a system that helped me overcome procrastination. By the way, I need to mention I discovered that I have ADD, attention deficit disorder, and I also have dyslexia. So it's like I had a package of, oh my goodness, my brain works
Jackpot.
very differently. So I discovered, I could manage my emotions
Mm.
and I could create a system that helped me take action and get unstuck. So I'm like, okay, seems like this is working. I'm going to open my own company. And I had at that point, my savings were $2,000. So I put all of my savings opening in a company. And then 18 months later, I opened it with 2000. And 18 months later, I sold my company for $500,000.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. And then I opened a second company. And 2 years later, I sold it for even more money.
That's amazing.
So, a single mom from Colombia with ADD, all the, things against me, a procrastinator.
Mm.
And then I thought, oh my goodness, my system is working. So people started approaching me saying, Patty, oh, you're so successful. I was like, yeah, it seems
It's
like it.
interesting, isn't it? You wonder. I guess anybody who is in business, they're waiting for that feedback marker, that bit of feedback from the markets to say, "Hey, look, you've got something that would really add value to me." Now, when that happened to you, did you systematize it right there and then, or was that a gradual thing for you?
So I started sharing with people what happened. I'm like, okay, so I created a system that helped me. I can share the system with you. And they're like, okay. And every time that I share it, they would change. It's like, oh my goodness, Patty. They would call me 2 months later. I double my salary, or I did this deal, or I have my own company and my sales went up to the roof. So I thought, oh my goodness, this is working. And I'm gonna tell you something mentioning, what your comment. Like my dad, I grew up with him saying that I was not great,
Mm.
and but I knew in my heart I could be. So to get to the point where I was successful, I thought I knew it.
Mm.
I knew I could. And so the external validation was nice, but at the end, you know that you know that you know that you can make it. And if there's a point in your life that you feel stuck, to be honest, one of the things that saved me is going and looking for coaches, going and looking for help, understanding what was happening with me. Because if you don't understand what's blocking you, then you can stay there for a month, a year, 10 years.
Mm.
So the most important thing is to look for a professional. And so, yeah, I created my own system. I started sharing it, and
Here
it
you
became
are.
everyone around me. They were successful. So that's how I became a coach.
See, because I often think about this, and we often have external influences in the way that we think. And the locus of control comes to mind. And you just kind of touched on it there. Is that something that you teach people is to have belief in themselves?
That is, the key, the beginning identity is destiny. Identity is destiny. So a lot of the people, like I was down for so long. I was doubting myself. I was not sure really where my future was going to be, that I started acting upon my own self-esteem and my self-perception and self-value. So one of the first things we do, I have a program, a 30-day program, and what we do in the first week is to find the real reason behind procrastination, to find the why behind it. And it's not the why, you hear a lot, oh, find your why, you're going to do it for your family or for the world. That is not it. We need to find the real reason why you're self-blocking. And a lot of that comes from self perception. From, I don't know, I didn't have the perfect family. They're great, but they were not perfect. So a lot of the things that I experienced in my childhood came back out on my adulthood.
Uh,
So a lot of the things that I experienced and lived, then they were not healed and they were not worked on, they started showing up. So first step to stop procrastination is to find the behind, the why, the reason behind you're not doing it. So 100%.
so is fear a common theme?
Fear is the biggest reason for procrastination.
Yeah.
And, we've been lied to. A lot of, books and coaches, and a lot of, you hear a lot, it's like, no, just buy a calendar, find a planner, and do a list or to-do list. That doesn't have to do anything with the real reason. The real reasons start with fear. Fear of success, even fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of uh, conflict. Anger is another big one, because all of these negative emotions have a direct impact of how we show up in the world and the things we do and don't do. So it's very interesting. Once you find your own reasons, and this is obviously very personal, but then you start healing and changing. It
See,
just works every time.
I touched earlier in the call, Patty, about professional and private sort of procrastination. I'm wondering, is there such a thing as corporate procrastination that holds businesses back from making decisions to move forward?
Oh, 100%.
Do
100%.
you see that often?
Yes, 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 yes. Because procrastination is almost a disease, right? Like it starts with you
Mm.
and your heart, and then you procrastinate on working out or eating healthier, on relationships. I don't know if you knew, but you can procrastinate on relationships, not having the difficult conversations. And then it transferred to the professional part, right? Like, oh, you don't show up for the appointments, or you don't do the follow-ups, or you're late, or you get distracted with your phone or whatever else. And then it becomes a group thing
Mm.
because we influence each other. And it becomes a cultural thing within organizations,
Ah.
within families, within organizations. Oh, that's the way we work. Oh, let's go for the coffee. Oh, we don't do this. And it becomes almost like a disease because, yes, the potential is there. Yes, you could sell more. Yeah, you can produce more, but still, we as individuals and as a corporation will get stuck.
Yeah, so
So
every year Christmas time comes around and we pack on a bit of weight, and then we say to ourselves, "We're going to go to the gym in January." And it
next
seems
year,
it seems to me that we go, but yet we lose the momentum. That initial rush of losing a few pounds was there, and it's now gone.
yes,
Are we our own worst enemies?
100%, a
Mm.
100%. And it's like, yeah, we have. It's not the desire. Like we. It's not that we don't know what to do,
Mm.
right? Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
know exactly what to do. It's like going to the gym and eating better, or making the calls, or. But at the end, it's more complex than that.
Mm.
Is not only knowing what to do, is finding out the reason why you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So that's the finding the why behind it is first. Second, we need to learn how to increase our emotional intelligence, because it's not about wishful thinking anymore. Is to find the triggers. What triggers you into fear? What triggers your anxiety? And what are your excuses? Oh, well, I'm just too busy. Well, that's how I grew up, or whatever else. And then there's something I love. It's commanding action. There's a way. I don't know if you knew this. I love doggies. I have a doggie,
Oh,
an
we have
Australian
three. We
doggie.
have three. Yes.
So you know this. You can command the doggies into sit, turn, come.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there's a way for us. I love neuroscience. We have two parts of our brain, and there's a way for us to learn how to command our own brain into action. There is a way to correlate emotions and minds so that we can teach ourselves how to go into action. And that's why I'm so excited, because I see people every day coming to me and they're like, I've been saying that I need to do this 10 years ago. And then in the first week, it's like, oh, I did it. It's just a matter of knowing how to do
How
it.
to do it. I have a couple of words that come to mind: accountability, consistency, and persistence. Now, when
No.
somebody realizes, hang on, this is all up to me, if I'm going to achieve what I want to set out to achieve, I have to be accountable. Do you offer to keep people accountable? Is there sort of a buddy system in your program?
100%. That's the key, actually, because I don't know you, Rick. I used to self-sabotage a lot. It's like, yes,
Every day.
I'm
I do it every
good.
day,
There you go.
especially with the gym.
Oh, I know, but because no one knew, it's like, oh, I didn't make it. Oh,
Nobody
fine.
saw that. I'll do it
Yeah,
tomorrow.
exactly. So yes, for example, with my clients, they come to me, and then if you tell me you're gonna go and walk for 30 minutes, let's say, you need to take a picture of your tennis shoes by the park
Oh,
and send me a picture and say, "Hey, Patty, I'm here.
I love it.
Hey, Patty, I just finished." So it's like having training wheels. We will work on the mind, we will work on the emotions, but we're gonna work on the action as well. Because if we don't do things, then it's just all
It's not
wishful
worth it.
thinking. you
I
know?
know that you've worked with some pretty big organizations, Fortune 500 companies, in fact, and I'd love to talk about how your work as, I guess, a productivity and business growth strategist and how they overlap in that space.
Yeah, you know what? Corporations, companies, big corporations, small business
Mm.
are just made out of people, right? So once we start changing the heart and the emotions of people, they start changing the way they do things. So absolutely, and my background is in business. So I used to be the one setting the strategies and this is where we're going. But at the end, if the people are not aligned to where we're going, then we're not gonna get there.
Mm.
Or maybe we could, but people start getting tired or resentful. So once we work on each person's emotions, it's easier because we're interrelated, right? All of our personal stuff shows up at work. So once we start working on our emotions and actually making it happen, it's easier to reach the goals from companies. If you work on the people and people are doing what they're supposed to be doing with their lives, with their emotions, with their daily actions, everything else will work. I've
So,
seen it over and over again.
so when you connect with a new client and they're basically a fresh slate in front of you, it must be a process to learn about that person and unwrap all of the blocks and the barriers and the beliefs. Does that take some
Yeah.
time?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to tell you, I love my first meetings with people
Mm.
because I wish, Rick, I could take a picture of the before and after. Like people literally a week or 2 weeks later are glowing. It's like, oh my goodness, it's happening. But the first call, they're really down. And I cannot say, oh my goodness, you look so down. Let me take a picture. You're going to look better in 2 weeks.
Thanks.
Uh, but I love that. And actually, this week, somebody said, aren't you tired of meeting people, Patty, that are down and doubtful? And I said, I have a God given gift that I don't see the person how they are, but I know how they're going to be in just a matter of weeks. So, yes, it's exciting to see them, and yet it doesn't take too long, believe it or not. I've had testimonials of 2 or 3 days. It's like, oh my goodness,
That's
I'm feeling
crazy.
better.
Yeah.
Because, when you're procrastinating, it's a downward spiral, right? Like you feel bad, then you do less, and the less you do, the worse you feel. This is like reversing that. This is okay, we're going to take action. And once people realize they can, you don't want to stop. It's like the gym, right? Like, oh, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. But once you go to consistently, it's like, oh, I don't want to miss it. So it does work quickly.
I
And that's a blessing.
I think about physiology, that's a word, and physiology and the way we think about ourselves. Is our physical health a factor in how effective our ability to procrastinate less and become more productive and successful? Does that play a part?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's all absolutely correlated.
Mm.
And that's the beauty of changing. You
Mm.
can change. It doesn't take, it took us years to get to where we're at, but the changes happen really, really quickly. And it's a combination, spirit, mind, and body. So it just works.
See, because I find myself regularly doing busy work rather than actually being productive. And then you should see my to do list. It's crazy. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people like me have this 30,000 things to do. And I think we do that to distract ourselves. How,
No,
what, what,
yes.
what are some of the, I guess, the core mechanisms, the tools and techniques that maybe you could share one of them that people would be listening to right now that they could try?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little something. First, there are 5 types of procrastinators. There are 5 types of procrastinators. And one of the types is called the chicken. And I love the chickens because the chickens come to me and they're like, Patty, I'm not a procrastinator. I'm a doer. Don't you see? I'm busy, 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 busy. And they're busy, but not very productive. And
Guilty.
the reason is, I was all of them, by the way. So basically, procrastination is an avoidance strategy. And when we're that busy but not very productive, we're avoiding the main tasks. So we're doing busy work to feel good about it. It's like, oh, well, I've been too busy. I haven't been able to do whatever else. But it's still an avoidance. You avoid if you stay at home and watch TV all day, or you can avoid by being too busy. And so the answer to your question is not a straight answer.
Yeah, I understand.
People come to me. I do a lot of these, podcasts, great podcasts like yours, and I have, TV interviews, and they tell me, well, tell me one tip of how to stop
You
procrastinating.
can't.
No, this is a process. That's why, like, I have, a 30-day process because it's emotional. So I cannot go and tell you, okay, you go back to your childhood, and it's like we need to go through the process, discover what's affecting you specifically. Why are you self-sabotaging? If you love yourself, why are you blocking your own self? So it's just a combination of different things: accountability, emotional intelligence, and actually have specific goals.
So, what's one element of procrastination that you've personally mastered? I'd love to hear about
Oh my goodness. So I am it's been a road because I didn't have anybody to help me specifically, but I love emotional intelligence.
it. Mm.
People ask me, I have one of my favorite testimonials is a guy that said, "Patty, I thought you were fake. Who can be this happy? I thought it was gonna wear off at some point." And reality is there's something called psychological flexibility, which means you bounce back quickly from anything that happens to you, any negative. And I was the opposite. I used to be down on myself, down, oh, what did he mean with that? Or what happened? Why was this happening to me? But I've learned to master psychological flexibility, which means I bounce back quickly from whatever setback or whatever happens on my day to day. So because of that, then I'm happy.
Yeah,
Not
well,
many
I
things
I can
specific.
tell you're the right person for this role because you're so vibrant and you just bring an energy to the whole experience. So I really appreciate having this conversation. Now, if we could, Patty, tell us a little bit about your stop method.
My
Stop method, STOP. I think there's a stop method in there.
Oh, I have, yes. So I have a method that I have a system. So I
Yeah.
do believe that there's nobody does things once. We're repetitive, right? We do things over and over again. And again, because this is not tip based or like prescription, you must do this, you must do that. There has to be systems. And so what I teach is as a system created in uh, command your brain into action and to be acknowledged of your emotions, and then find whatever you need to do to command your brain. So the system is three parts: one, emotions; second, what is it that you need to do; and third, how do I teach people how to command their brain into action.
So, out of all of these techniques that you have, and it sounds wonderful, is there one particular strategy that you share with your clients that catches them off guard?
Oh my goodness. Like I love seeing people's faces every day. Because they're like, oh,
Hang on.
oh, right. It's like I wish I had known this years ago. I think the rediscovering of who they are, it's what really, really gets people like surprised. It's like I knew I had it in me, but I didn't know how to actually work it out. And yet, just yesterday, I had a lady that said something really bad happened to her when she was 18 years old. And she's like 40 something. And she's like, I cannot believe I had not healed this fully and was still showing up. So it's just beautiful when people just go back and redo, or heal the things that they've had experience in their life so that they can show up for themselves. And the other thing is when they start getting victories, it's like, oh, Patty, I did do it. I'm like, I knew you would have,
Yeah, I
I'm
tell you,
not
it must
sure.
make you feel, a warm glow inside when you see people succeed. Is that the case?
Oh my goodness, Rick. It's so rewarding. It's so rewarding. Like my mom is wonderful, but she's always like, why do you work? You don't need to work, because I had two successful companies like me. Just don't work. I'm like, mommy,
It's
you
not
don't
about that.
understand.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I just love seeing people victorious.
And you
This
have,
is my
by I guess by definition of the work that you do over a 30-day period, you would have forged some amazing relationships with people. And do they go beyond that 30-day period? Do you continue working with
yeah.
people?
I tell them we're gonna work together for 30 days, but you're not getting rid of me
Ah,
because I have people because the change is so dramatic. People are very grateful, right? And because I get to see a lot of who they are and what happened to them in the past, then we become really good friends forever. So I still have people from 3 years ago
three.
texting me. I have something, Rick, that's called the 6 a.m. club. And a lot of people come to me and they're like, I'm going to bed too late and I'm waking up too late in the morning. So my whole day is messed up. So I join them into the 6 a.m. club. We say good morning to each other at 6 a.m.
Oh,
And still, like 3 years later, some people are like, hey, good morning, Patty, 6 a.m. club. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're still doing it. So, yeah,
love it.
100%. I have hundreds of friends
Well,
now.
I know full well that, there'd be a lot of people on this call thinking there's an opportunity for me to get out of this vicious cycle that I'm in, this procrastination cycle, be it professionally or privately. Tell me a little bit about, I guess, the program and the onboarding process if people want to reach out to
Yes.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a 30-day program. And
Hmm.
then basically what we're going to do is in week one, we're going to find the why behind your own procrastination. On week two, we're going to set up goals. Where are you going? Where can you reach? Where are you going to go? On week three, we work about on emotional intelligence. And then we put on week four a plan together for you to actually make it happen. And the one thing I'm gonna do for your audience, Rick, because I know you're absolutely amazing. So I know there are a lot of people that might be hearing this and saying, "Oh my goodness, Patty, I need to start. What do I do?" So I'm gonna do something very special. I'm going to give a one session at no cost to whoever is listening to this call.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes,
Thank you so
so if
much.
you, yeah, it's my pleasure. I love seeing people change. And so if you're ready for a change and if you're in the US, you just text me and say, Patty, I'm in. Uh, and tell me your name and that you came from you, Rick, so that I know that I will honor that one free session. So you can text me at 813-789-1097. This is a US number, 813-789-1097. If you're outside the US, you put like the code of the US, which is +1, and you can WhatsApp me as well if that's the case, if you're outside the US. But again, my phone number is 813-789-1097. Just text me, say, I'm in, tell me your name, and tell me that you came from Rick's podcast.
So tell me, if people wanted to get some preliminary information, Patty, do you have a website? Where would they go?
Yes, 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 yes. You can go to www.stopprocrastinatingtoday.com.
Oh,
Stopprocrastinatingtoday.com.
it's pretty easy to remember that one. Look, if you're on today's call and you've enjoyed what we've spoken about, below this post, no matter where you see it across all of our wide reaching network, you're going to find the links back to Patty and her wonderful work. And with all that being said, Patty, this has just been an incredibly fun call. Thank you so very much for joining me on the My Future Business show today.
Thank you, Rick. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much for your time.